All right, welcome back, everyone. Bag E is an Echo, and I just kind of have my parts laying out right here. That one there on your left is a motor mount. You get a ball bearing, a couple of shims, and then you got the right side motor mount, depending on which way you're looking at it. Then up here is the other part of E. Don't be surprised if you get this car, if you have extra parts, at least as far in this packet. These here are ride height adjustment shims. You'll place those underneath this axle. So if you want this car to sit lower to the ground, like if that's the ground down there, you'll obviously put shims underneath it to raise it up. If you want it to sit, get a higher ride height, you push the axle down, right? So that's how these work. These are not listed just yet, and these are not listed just yet. Again, I just kind of basically lay everything out as I got them. Don't be confused with these four washers here. With all of those, they do come, at least mine did, they come separately sealed. So I still got some extra goodies. They're just, none of them are labeled on here just yet. So there might be another page, but I'm going to start at the top one. This one looks fairly easy. And just for shits and giggles, well, we'll just test this one here. That one there is a pretty close to 1-to-1 ratio. So on something that's not complicated, they give you a 1-to-1 ratio. Very nice, very nice. That one is definitely the most straightforward piece. Those are actually aluminum spacers down in there. And so you have a right and the left side, depending if you're looking at it from the front of the vehicle, the rear of the vehicle. Either way, that's the motor side, and then passenger side or driver side, depending on which side of the road you drive on. So anyway, motor side, other side. All right, now down to the other part right here. I've already pre-installed these pivot points with a couple of washers and the lock nut here. I've got that done. And man, these guys, they got their craftsmanship down. Look at those beautiful countersunk holes. I mean, it's just hard to appreciate that on camera, but man, they are absolutely perfect. Just so nice and right to the edge. I mean, if you're looking at that center one right there, that countersink hole is right there to the edge. I'm guessing they must have used a water jet to cut that out. I mean, because even the edges are all nice and smooth. That's very cool stuff. Anyway, so you'll see here that it requires a panhead screw. We call them a panheaded screw, and then a thread. Well, I'm getting lost right here. This big, I guess, add thread lock. Okay, never mind. So that's a big ball-looking thing, which is here. I don't know if that's aluminum or not. It kind of feels like plastic. Yeah, it sounds like plastic. So I got it. Put a ball in there, a little thread lock. According to that, we got one of those. There's only one there. So again, this screw here, there's only two in the package. So when you slice and open your package with a razor blade, you don't have to worry about that one too much because there's only two of them in there. Should be pretty easy to identify. And you're still gonna have, like I said, some extra parts remaining for as of right now. Just stick it somewhere out of the way. Maybe even stick it back in the e-bag. Let's get this one built. So there is our other finished part right there, and I think I said they sound like plastic. I ended up putting it in my mouth and bite on it, and that's aluminum, that little ball right there. So I'm gonna make that a little bit brighter for you guys. There you go. Yeah, a little ball on the bottom. Then put a little drop of Loctite on it, and sandwich that down. And that one's too easy. Then you'll have this guy here left over. Look at that machining process. Isn't that just awesome? You can see how the drill just went down and it drilled several little tiny holes. Well, the air conditioner has been running for a while. And only to turn back on again. Alright, so here's a continuation of bag E. Hopefully I don't hit the stop button accidentally. So this is part of the rear motor assembly / suspension assembly. Let's get that together and see what happens. Okay, so laying it up, we got 2 screws for there. We got 2 screws for here. they will join, as you see right there in that picture from the bottom. Use a little bit of Loctite into your aluminum piece there. So you got two, and all 4, or technically all 6 screws that will be in your remaining bag are all the same. Then this plate here will get attached somewhere back there, making this a complete assembly. I'm sorry, I just misstated that. You're going to use one of the 2 flush trim screws and one of the longer ones in the bag. And you should have a total of 2 extras left over in the meantime. So, because one of these is countersunk and the other one is not. So, that's where I accidentally discovered that. I did not discover it here, even though there are different part numbers, but the part numbers really don't mean anything when they don't jive with that up there. So I guess it kind of shows a tapered seat screw right there in the manual. So if you got that much attention to detail, but for me it was easier to notice it once I saw the countersunk hole on this guy right here. Now your rear suspension, motor assembly area, rear bumper, whatever it is going to end up being, should look something like this, roughly. It should look something like that. These guys at Charisma, the quality of their craftsmanship is just amazing. I feel like I'm really getting my money's worth every time I touch something on here. I can't say much for the owner's manual or for the build sheet, but man, every time I touch something, I just feel like I'm really getting my money's worth. I've spent equal amounts of money on other RC cars in the past, and I think I was just buying a name brand and not a product, because obviously I don't have it today. Then we slide our gear in there, and wow, it spins nice. Very, very, excuse me, just phenomenal. Absolutely got a frog in my throat. Next thing looks pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to insert this other end onto the other end of the shaft, which is sticking out here. Let's see if there's any identifiers yet. There's a little flat spot right there. You can kind of make that out. Alright, so there is a little set screw in there, and that would be our one remaining set screw there, so we'll slide that on there, and that will conclude bag E, and then probably tomorrow I'll do bag F.